Hello, hello. How are you all doing? This is the middle of booting up. My internet's still got issues. Anyways, how are you all doing? This is your weekly live, the weekly live Q&A segment. We often have different things the weekly live. I'd say generally nowadays it's a Q&A segment. Maybe once every 4 weeks we have a game show segment. Maybe once every 3 or 4 weeks we'll do a stream. The Blatcher stream, honestly, the Blatcher stream didn't do as well compared to other weekly lives, which I guess makes sense. It's more of a focus, interest of who wants to see me playing Blatcher, but I had fun, so that counts for something, I believe. Anyways, how are you all doing? Let me go ahead and pause this video so I'm not using that much bandwidth. Let me go pop out top chat. I should be on live chat, not top chat. And let's go ahead and see pop out chat. There we go. We got it all loading up now. So, how are you all doing? It is Thursday, the 16th of May. I don't know why I felt the need to say the date. I don't generally say the dates on these things. But, hello, Mikhail, Stacy, Aziel, Rob, Paradise, Joey. How are you all doing today? So, this is your regular Q&A segment. We're going to dive into any number of things, but let me tell you about, what did I play last night? Oh, I just finished Charterstone last night. I finished a 3-player game of Charterstone, just dove into another 12 missions of it, 12 gameplays of it, not missions. It's one that I played it a long time ago, maybe 3-4 years ago, maybe 4 years ago? Was it either 4 years ago or 3 years ago, around the same time, May, and I just dove into it again, which is legacy games are games that I do enjoy enough that the right ones I will dive into. I wouldn't be surprised if I dove into Charterstone again in the future, although I imagine if I do, we're talking about another, another 5 years out. I don't imagine. I need a longer break in between them. Outside of that, I've been playing some Unstoppable from John D. Clear. I've been playing some 10 Days in the USA with my daughter. The op just came out with the new version of it. 10 Days in the USA is an interesting one because it's not one that I need for my own collection. I enjoy it. I think it's a very fun game, but I've had a lot, I had it for my collection for years. I had the whole series, 10 Days in the USA, 10 Days in China, in Europe, and whatever it was. And it's one that I hope the op puts out more of them. My daughter really enjoyed it, which means it probably is going on the kid shelf. It's not one I pull out for my gamer friends. It's a good game with your gamer friends. It still is, but it's not as much the type of thing we generally pull out. So, and in general, reviewing games is fascinating because, like 10 Days in the USA is an interesting example. That's a game where the op basically said, hey, would you like to cover it? And I was like, I like the original game. Let me go ahead and cover it. And then I got it. And if it wasn't for the fact that my daughter likes it and would want to keep it, I would get it, cover it, and then move on from it. Which is a weird conversation to go into. Am I covering a game? I'm getting a review copy of a game that I already know how I feel about it. I already got rid of it, but I'll get it so that I can review it and then move on from it. And again, in this case, it's sticking around, but that's a concept that has happened. But in general, I think that if I haven't given my thoughts on a game on a video, I'll do something like that. But I'm not going to just pick up a game just for the sake of picking it up and moving on from it. I think there's so many great games you can play, and there's so many games you'll want to own, and so many other games you'll play. When I go to conventions, there's games I'll just sit there and table, even though they aren't games I chose to own. What's one? We had the Guild Merchant Explorers at PAX Unplugged, I want to say. We sat down at the table as a group. Do I love that game? No, I like it. I think it's a good game. Do I own it? No, but it was a good game to pull off the shelf for the right situation. There's too many games. I think that's what it comes down to. There's always too many games. Stacy, Charterstone, is it good? I think Charterstone is satisfying. I don't think it's great. Charterstone on its own is not a game I would play. I do think Legacy adds enjoyment to a game. I think the process of iterating and building upon a game makes a game that's this good, this good. I would never play Charterstone on its own as a single session game. I do think it's a nice game to dive into. I was worried when we started it that it would become something I would take up, game night for the next, 5 weeks, and it's not good enough to do that. But we all enjoyed it, and so we all powered through it in, 3 days. It was 3 sessions. We played 6 games, 4 games, and then 2 games. That was the arc of it was 3 sessions in a row, and then we followed up with other games after. So I think games like that can work really well if you're willing to power through it with the right group. I think most Legacy games, for me, the longer they've gone on, the more they've dragged, the less satisfying it's been as an experience. So I do recommend Charterstone. They also have a Steam app if you want to try that. I don't know if everyone has to own it or if one person can own it. I don't know. But it's the kind of game I would play on Steam, honestly. It's the kind of background game I'd simply dive into it. They manage all the paperwork. I think I'm going to look into Charterstone on Steam and see how it is, because you could replay it there, and I do think it's a good 12-episode arc of do this, place this. I don't think it's an amazing game. I think it's a good, satisfying experience where Legacy enhances it. James, no, 1 second. Steph, do you have to relearn rules often? Yes, in general. One of the reasons I try to keep a very comprehensively, lean collection is, again, lean is a relative term, but with considering the amount of games I get and the amount of games I love, the reason I get rid of games that I love, the reason I got rid of Gollum, which was a game that I very much enjoyed, is I only have so much room for game time, but also mental space for storing rules. The more heavy Euros I have, the more I'm going to have to relearn it to play it, and the less likely I am to actually play it. So for me, in general, I would say that I do, because of the mindfulness around relearning rules, which is something I have to do, it's often faster. Like diving into, like Charterstone is a game I had to relearn because I learned it 4 years ago, 5 years ago, whatever it was. But for the process of relearning it was literally everyone's at the table and I was like, give me 4 minutes, talk to each other, and I'll just do it. And 4 minutes was all I needed to relearn this game. Now Charterstone's not a hard game. It might be a 15 to 20 minutes of learning for someone who's new to it, but it's always faster to relearn rules, but I'm still mindful about that, which is one of the reasons I always try to have the best of the best and not a lot of very good games. It's why I can both recommend a game and then get rid of it next video, because it's a good game. I just have only so much space and time to play them all, so I have to keep the ones that I think are either the best or the most likely to get tabled. I'm realizing now, I'm looking at Vienna on the shelf, Vienna's going in the next call. Vienna's good. Vienna is good. But it's not the best of the best. Vienna's going in the next call. Again, this is what I do on a regular basis. I look around and think, what do I... Not whether I like it. Vienna's a good game, although I give it a 3.5, not like a 4. But 3.5s are almost always leaving eventually. 4s are where we start moving into some stay, some go. And 4.5s, I generally don't get rid of 4.5s or 5s. It does happen, but it's very often the exception or the rarity. Azael, is the video skipping a lot or is just my connection? Well, if other people are experiencing it, then it's going to be my connection. But long story short, I've been on a whole internet journey. Not a fun one. It's gotten to the point where I've debated canceling live streams in general, but I don't want to cancel them for so long. Like I've talked about in other videos, I will be moving soon. I don't know when the new set is going to be like ready or how we're managing all that, but effectively, I would say that I'm not worried. I'm not trying to fix the internet anymore, because eventually when I move, hopefully it'll be, even if it's bad, at least I'll focus on fixing it there. So we'll see how that goes. But it might be me, it might be you. Although I'm seeing Paradise saying the video is good, so maybe it is just you this time. James, good afternoon. Deep Madness Reborn arrived yesterday. Woohoo. Enjoy Deep Madness. I really enjoyed Deep Madness. It is one I got rid of eventually because too many of games in that genre, but it is one I had a lot of fun with, so definitely enjoy it. Oh, I'm watching on the big TV, just FYI. Enjoy it on the big TV. I mean, I assume you're watching me on the big TV. Srebme, I'm listening while on the bike ride. Please be extra entertaining. Srebme, I'll do what I can, but I don't perform on demand. I'm not a comedian. Grant Lyon's a comedian. Grant Lyon is funny. He is like, oh my gosh, I saw a bit from him performing at Tantrum Con. It was a bit where he's like, his non-gamer friends were like, oh, why don't you come on over and bring one game? And he's like, one game? You sure you didn't mean 7 or 14 or 28? I think 28 would be a good number. You sure I can't bring 28 games? Because thank you for inviting me over. Now let me go ahead and waste my entire afternoon staring at the shelf trying to figure out what one game I'm going to bring over. Grant's funny. Grant is very funny. I recommend watching his comedy if you have a chance. I'm not funny in a typical sense. I do think that I have moments like, because I know you watch a lot of my content, and I know you'll comment. You'll often comment on the moments that I'm particularly proud of, but they're never planned. They just happen. I think there are moments where I can latch onto that thread of humor and have something that is mildly entertaining to the same type of people who share my sense of humor. But they're very specific. They're not on demand. On demand, I just have dad jokes, and those are not the same category at all. Aaron Taylor, do you think the Mayday Kickstarter is worth getting for the first Crokinole board, or should I just wait to get a Tracy board? Aaron, I'm biased for this. The answer I would give is you should not buy a Tracy board without trying to see if Crokinole is worth it for you. You should try Crokinole at a convention, at a friend's place, at something, I don't know, whatever opportunity you have to try Crokinole somewhere, and then once you know you love it, buy a Tracy board. If you think you are going to enjoy Crokinole and infrequently play it, then I think Mayday might be worth it. But the quality of a Mayday board is good, but it's not good compared to a Tracy board. Your Tracy boards in general, not just Tracy, but Tracy boards and other high premium companies are going to be so much better as far as it can be so much better in terms of the overall feeling that they give, that if you are going to play Crokinole regular, I recommend skipping the $100 intro board. But if you're going to play Crokinole once a year, maybe you don't need a $350 board. Ryan, have you ever done a ranking of legacy games? No, I started taking notes on it once, but then I think I had like 2 left that I hadn't done, so I was like, oh, I should finish Jurassic World Legacy of Isla Nubla, I should finish Pandemic Legacy Season 0, I've still never finished Pandemic Legacy Season 0, I started it, just never finished it, and then I don't know, I think I've wanted to get the other ones done. It's something I will consider doing. I believe that I'm going to be trying to play through, not Anne's End. No, Clank Legacy, the second edition of that, whatever it is, second Kickstarter. I think I'll be trying to play through that, so maybe I'll wait till after that. So even now I'm like, no, I didn't do it because I was waiting. I'll continue waiting, but I should do a Legacy ranking. There's not that many. There's not that many good Legacy games. There's maybe 10, something like that. So I should do a ranking at some point. Mikhail, enjoy going back to Monster Train after your previous video. I'm glad you did. I've really been on a binge of these games. Someone bought me a copy of Spell Rogue, which I appreciate you, Successful. Someone bought me a copy of Spell Rogue, and I started playing Spell Rogue. I like that one too. So now I could say that I like Monster Train, I like Slay the Spire, I like Balacho, I like Spell Rogue. And then what was the other one I said? Slice and Dice on the phone, but I will buy it again. As soon as they have a Steam app, I will buy it again. Do they already have a Steam app? Maybe I'll buy it again today. I really like Slice and Dice. Now, the main thing I'm waiting right now is I'm waiting to get the Steam Deck OLED, which I think I've said in previous videos, but I had a Steam Deck, returned it because I had issues, and I'm now waiting to get the Steam Deck OLED, which means I'm being conservative right now. Money's tight enough that I'm being conservative right now, and I'm waiting for it to go on sale in general. So I do plan on getting it, but like if I can save 20% on it because it went on some sale at some point, that's when I'll buy it. But I will get the Steam Deck at some point because honestly, playing on my phone, playing on a tablet, playing on a computer, I really think I like playing on the Steam Deck like at night before bed. I find it so much better than just doom scrolling. So that's in the game plan. Currently going through Ticker Ride. No. Three F-ups. 3 F-cups. That's a very specific username. Was happy to learn you shared a love for Rum Bones. Think you might get a third wave launch in the future. I'd love to see a big box with all current content with the updated rules and new things. I almost don't want more content. I have boxes full of Rum and Bones. It's all hidden behind there as well. I have so much Rum and Bones, it's annoying. But if they did produce more content, I would absolutely get it. I am a huge advocate for it though, and I do know people at CMON, so I might ask them if there's plans for Rum and Bones, or put it in the air. Like, someone said that they're going for, like, extreme prices on the secondhand market, which makes sense. It's a good game. It's hard to get your hands in it. I might see if they can do Rum and Bones. Not that I don't imagine I have sway. I imagine at best I have the loose idea that might eventually turn into a conversation. I don't count on anything, but I'll ask people. Petrified, currently going through Ticket to Ride Legacy and I've been pleasantly surprised. I plan on playing Ticket to Ride Legacy again. I already played it as a 2-player experience. My first play was at a convention, played a 4-player single game, but I didn't play the whole campaign. Then I played the whole campaign 2-player to be able to go ahead and knock it out and review it. And now I'm waiting, I have another copy of it, I'm waiting to play it, but I'm waiting for at least 4 players to get it done. So we already have 3, and we're waiting on a tentative 4th who's not yet ready to commit, but is interested, and then I'll be playing Legacy, Ticket to Ride Legacy again, because I enjoyed that one. Azel, good point about Made of Crokinole. Never played it, don't know if it's for me by the looks of it, but never heard a bad thing about it, and don't know if I'm willing to drop $250. Yeah, 100%. Aaron, do you think Come On will have a Do Rum Bones reprint? I wish I would have backed. Yeah, I'm gonna try that. Well, again, I'll mention something. That's the most I can do. Paradise. Nope, video's good. Glad to hear. Petrified, off the top of your head, how many 5s have slipped from their ranking? Oh, so this is complicated, okay? This is a complicated answer. Off the top of my head, I'm going to say 3. I don't actually know. No, I mean, okay, well, no, it's a complicated answer. So, I rate games, and I've given games 5 out of 5s. And then some 5 out of 5s have slipped from the rankings. Now, there's 3 different categories of slipping from the rankings, okay? And this is, I guess, the way I always divide things into buckets. Everything's a list. That's why I do well at YouTube, because instinctively for me, if you ask me a question in real life, I'm like, okay, so there's 3 ways to look at it. That's a typical thing for me. So 3 ways to look at it, or 3 ways to evaluate. Way number 1 is a game I've ever given a 5 out of 5, period, is since I've been playing games in 2011, and how have they held up. Okay, that's number 1. And that answer is a decent amount. Across 13 years of playing games, a lot of games have shifted. I would say a lot of my early 5 out of 5s were also based on me not knowing enough of the market. So they were more freely given. And then as time went on, I became more conservative because you have to stand out against higher games. So if you're looking at my first 5 years of gaming, the games that were my initial top 10 games, like Once Upon a Time, I don't remember the full list, but I remember that Once Upon a Time in my top 10 games of all time was Cosmic Encounter, Kingdom Builder, 5 Tribes. I don't remember what else, but I remember those 3 were there. Okay, so I don't know what else was there. But I can tell you that none of those 3 are 5 out of 5s for me. Cosmic Encounter has gone down to a solid 4 out of 5. Really enjoy it, but things hold it back for me. Kingdom Builder, probably a solid 4 out of 5 as well. I like it. And 5 Tribes, probably a 4.5 out of 5. None of them would be 5 out of 5s for me. So the first grouping is things that I rated as my best ever before I got to the point I'm at now. The second answer, the second caveat would be that there are definitely games, because I have, the way I rate games now is 5, 4.5, 4, 3.5, etc. That's a relatively recent change, meaning even when I was doing YouTube, for the first 2 years of YouTube, I only had 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I didn't have 0.5s. It's only around 2 years into YouTube that I broke it up into the 0.5s. And I was a lot freer with what went into the 5 category before I had a 4.5. Once I added 4.5, anything that could be rounded up or down, I had to choose, and I would say a majority of them rounded down. There was a point in time where I gave like 5 games like a 5 out of 5 within like a 2-month period. And I think half of those I demoted to a 4.5 almost immediately once I started introducing the 4.5 ranking. Meaning it's not to say that, I guess the way I'd look at it is if you would come in at a 4.6, let's say, because I don't actually do point whatevers, but if you would come in at a 4.6, well, between 4 and a 5, you round up to a 5. But if it's between a 4.5 and a 5, you round down to a 4.5. So I think Mosaic, Fall of the Mountain King, those are two games offhand that I gave a 5 out of 5 in my video. If you check the video, I gave it a 5 out of 5. But one of the things that I didn't make a whole big video about it, but one of the things I did is on my end, on my own sheets of stuff, I use a Notion board, I divided all my 5s into 4.5s and 5s. I did that for every tier. All my 4s became 3s or 3.5s or 4s, whatever it is. And so I went through all those categories trying to figure out where something fit more naturally. Some things even rounded up. If you were a 4, now you could be a 4, a 4.5, or a 3.5. So something's rounded up too, but a 5 can't round up, it can only round down. So that's kind of the second category. Things that were 5s that got demoted, but not really demoted. So those categories I almost wouldn't count. The last category would be things that I actually gave it a 5. I gave it a 5 out of 5, let's say, since starting YouTube. I've given it a 5 out of 5, and then have I adjusted them downwards. And there's not a lot that have knocked out of the 5 out of 5. I would say Endless Winter did. Endless Winter got demoted from a 5 to a 4.5, and that one I don't think... The question is, right now, if I didn't have a 4.5, would it demote to a 4? I don't know. But even when I had 5s, even when I had 4.5s, Endless Winter was a 5 at first. It did get demoted over time to a 4.5. I still enjoy Endless Winter a lot. A 4.5 is still strong, but that one got demoted. Destiny's got demoted from a 5 to a 4. That one I loved it a lot when I first played it. The more I played it, the more I found that I wasn't as enamored with the system. Gloomhaven got demoted from a 5 to a 4. Like it's still a great game, but it definitely got demoted for me. I mean, I know I initially guessed 3. There's probably more than 3, but there's not that many. They do exist. I actually plan on doing, well, I'm in the middle of going through my entire, I have like 900 reviews at this point. I'm in the middle of going through every single one of them to actually catalog them all properly. Most of my ratings are cataloged, not all of them are. So I've been going through like maybe, I don't know, 40 a day until I get caught up. I'm at like 500 through of the 900, whatever. And at some point, I plan on doing a video with some of the findings at the end. Like, I want to be able to drop a kind of an end-of-year recap. Like, okay, great. In 2023, I gave, 373 games ratings. Of those 373 games, this many were that many were that. I want to do recap videos so that data is out there. Because at the end of the day, like, part of the hard part of being a content creator, to an extent, I love being a content creator, make no mistake. But part of the hard part is, perceptionally, I think people who don't watch all my videos, which should be 99% of the human population because I put out too many videos, people who don't watch all my videos, they might see the highlight videos. And if you've only seen the highlights, if you've only seen the most popular videos, the hyped up stuff, or even if you're only browsing things from crowdfunding, instinctively you might think I'm more positive than I am, because you'll see a review for The Witcher that got 50,000 views and it got a 5 out of 5. But then, and by the way, still a 5 out of 5. Love that game. But you'll see a review, but you won't see a review that got 1,300 views for some random unpopular game that I gave a 2.5 out of 5. So I think there can be a perception of positivity that I definitely can be positive, make no mistake. But my most common rating, I've said this before, statistically speaking, just from a pure factual data, my most common rating is a 3.5. I think then 4, then a 3, then a 4.5, then a 5. And 2.5s and lower are very rare because I usually don't give those games more time. They happens, but they're very rare. Anyways, I'm so far behind because that was a long time spent on an answer. Chris, I often discover crowdfunding projects late. Is there a way to quickly get to the first update on GameFound project? I find that I need to click on load more many times until I get there. Oh, fun fact, Chris. If you are in the updates, and I wish they would fix this, but every single update on a GameFound project has the number of the update in the URL. Okay, so what you need to do is you just need to go to that URL where it says /15 and just change it to /1. And then there you go. You're on the first update. It's not the most efficient system from a user-friendliness side. That's a trick I discovered before I ever worked for GameFound, and I still use it to this day. So that's your answer there. Chris also wants to get to update 1. There doesn't seem to be a way to navigate to update 2 and then 3. I have to back the main updates. So again, this will still answer your question. Just go to 2, then 3, then 4. They absolutely should. This is a piece of advice I gave them a long time ago before I ever worked for them. They should be a little button. Like on stretch goals, you can navigate to the next stretch goal, next stretch goal. You can't do that in updates. They should add that. I don't know why they haven't done it yet. I will check with the team and see if that's even in the queue or something to do. ACS, hey Alex, what's your favorite 2-player area control game? Ooh. Antique Duellum, probably Antique Duellum, specifically in the 2-player category. I know people said Ank's great at 2 players. I've played at 2 players. I think it's good. I don't know if it shines at 2 players. I'd rather play at 3 or 4. I think Antique Duellum is probably my favorite 2-player area control game. Petrified, the best entertaining moment was when you couldn't open the Railroad ink box. Oh, Petrified. I don't love that moment. Azael, same issue as Crusade, the update scrolling issue is a major gripe against GameFound, so hopefully both of you now have an answer that will solve your problems, although it only answers your problems, not the 700 other people who don't watch this live stream and have no idea, but that will answer your question. Sundeko, you mentioned house ruling Besiege on a video the other day, and I was curious if any other Command games would radically improve a few house rules. Maybe Crowdfunding Legends, for example. I'm sure they can. House rules are very interesting for me. There are times when I'm willing to put the time, effort, and energy into trying or implementing house rules. Massive Darkness, I house ruled the difficulty. Crowdfunding, what's it called? The Besieged, when I had it, I house ruled things. Zombicide, for the longest time, I would house rule how I dealt with abominations. It's actually funny. I don't actually know what the source for this is. The way I used to handle abominations has become the way they handle it in Marvel Zombies. But I don't know if they, like, watched my videos, because I think I actually covered it in a video one time. I don't know if they ever watched my videos and were like, hey, that's a good way of doing it. But what I used to do is I would draw an abomination card, and then I'd roll. Whenever an abomination was drawn from the deck, I would roll. On a 1 to 3, it was a standard abomination. On a 4 to 6, I would draw a random abomination from the special abominations that I have a separate deck for. That's still the way I play as Zombicide Black Plague, and that's kind of the system they implemented in Marvel Zombies. So I've definitely house ruled some things in the CMON universe. But as far as when I'm willing to house rule things, I kind of have to, it has to be obvious or easy to me. I'm not here to like spend time, effort, and energy fixing someone else's game. But I will happily use house rules that someone else suggests, or house rules that seem intuitive and obvious. So that's kind of my line around house rules. Brian, hello Camperdos. Hello Brian. Sindeka, maybe you could do a segment called Alex's Edits, highlighting great house rules for games. I think Tom had a video segment once where it was like fixing games, but I think it might have been more about storage than house rules. I actually did one time put together a list of games that I was going to talk about in a video of how I house ruled them. It never became a thing, most likely because it's so rare for me. It does happen, but we're talking about like maybe 2 games a year where I'm like implementing house rules. It's very much the exception for me. That said, I will have it in mind and perhaps do it. I find video content creation is a fascinating subject as far as trying to determine interest, and I think these kinds of things only work well with really popular games, because in general, what works best on board game videos? What works best? Top 10 lists, top 10 videos, roundup stuff, crowdfunding, to back or not to back. Things that don't have a targeted specific interest tend to work best in terms of how videos perform. Now, targeted ones do work with popular games. Slay the Spire, The Witcher, Monster Hunter World. If you look at there are definitely some games on my channel that have gotten like 50,000 views for a popular game, but I would say most singular videos, a singular review around a random game, will likely get between 1,000 to 3,000 views, and it only takes something really popular for it to cross that threshold. But that does mean that further targeted content, if I'm doing a house rules video around a specific game, that you're narrowing the interest even further. You have to be interested in the person who's interested in that game and who's interested in house rules in the game. And again, that does work for popular games, but it doesn't work for your average game. So you have to be very specific with targeted content. Joey, did you ever play Inscription? I'm in the middle of playing Inscription, Joey. I started it. I played it for like maybe half an hour, and I was like, I don't know if I care enough. And then I went to go ask for a refund on the game, because like, I don't care enough. I'm not spending $10 on this. And then I was looking at the reviews, and all the reviews were like, go in blind, play this game. It's the best thing you've ever experienced. And honestly, there were enough of those reviews that were like, don't watch reviews, just play it. That I was like, okay, I'll keep playing. Maybe it's about the journey and not the gameplay. Meaning, I think Inscription is a game that it's not about what you're first doing. It's about some form of developed arc in the game. Now, I don't know how or what happens next. Right now, I'm not getting my $10 back because I'm trusting the fact that the 97% overwhelmingly positive with the sheer amount of people who love it, I'm trusting that they have a reason to love it. So I will continue playing it and see how it goes. And either I'll regret the time spent and wish I had $10 back, or I'll be like, oh my god, I should write a Steam review. You should go in blind and play it. One of those two things will happen, Joey, and I don't know which one. Rob, I've been learning Cloudspire and really enjoying the solo mode. Where are you at Cloudspire currently? I love the art for it as well. I love Cloudspire, and I haven't played it in easily a year. It's a hard game to table. It's one of those games that there are certain games in my collection that I'm like, I love you, but I don't play you. Should I keep you? Mage Knight's in that category. Cloudspire's in that category. There's probably others too. I mean, Madara I've looked at. Honestly, I probably will get rid of my Madara because Meg has a copy, so I don't feel I need it. Like, if I end up playing, it'll probably be with her anyway. I'll probably should get rid of that. I really need to do a purge. I mentioned moving. I will probably do a extra busy movement purge. We'll see. Moving purge, not movement purge. Let's see. Are you going to spill this year? UKGE? Unfortunately, neither. At least as of right now. UKGE is more of a money thing. The cost of going to UKGE is basically an extra $2,000 compared to, actually $1,500 compared to a regular convention, and I don't know if I get that much extra benefit from it. I absolutely plan on going to UKGE at some point, but I don't think it's going to be this year. And then Essen is one that Essen has that extra cost, but at least it has the benefit of being as large as it is. So at least it's like the biggest thing in board gaming. So I absolutely plan on going to Essen. This This year it conflicts too much with the holidays. I need to take a look. There's a small chance I can go. More realistically, I will probably not be going to Essen this year, and I will hope to go next year. That's the current plan. Brian, Alex, I never see you playing Vitalis other games. Are they games you don't enjoy, or are they too hard for you? So I would say that I've played some of his lighter games. From his heavier games, I've played Lisboa. My opinion of Lisboa is that it was very, very good, but the mental energy expended on it wasn't worth the payoff. Meaning something like Food Chain Magnet, incredible mental energy, but worth the payoff. For me, Lisboa was the mental energy of Food Chain Magnet, but the payoff of a Stefan Feld game. For me personally, people like it. I still liked it. I'd rather play a Stefan Feld game over Lisboa. Now, I still want to try all of his games, but I haven't yet. So, it's in the cards, but eventually. Catan, Petrified. Catan will always be a 5. Not for me, but I'm glad you enjoy it. Ryan, really enjoyed your Command rankings. Justice for Rising Sun. Your musings on He-Man got me wondering how important theme is in games and how having an unattractive theme can lower games' appeal. He-Man's a weird one for me because it's not an unattractive theme per se, but I'm really not pulled in by it, and it's kind of goofy. Like, I do wish it was a different theme for me. But many people like the He-Man theme, so it is what it is. I'm glad you enjoyed the video. I'm glad it's been a while since I did a Come On Rankings video, and after everything with God of War, I was like, you know what? I often get the perception that I love everything from CMON, and I make no mistake. They are a publisher whose games that I enjoy, but I thought it would be good to do a rankings video to, like many of their games have not worked for me, including popular ones like Bloodborne and Rising Sun. Not all CMON games are for me. Enough of their games are for me that I'm definitely a avid consumer of theirs. Azil, hit the point in the library where I don't want more games, just to Ultra Deluxe my favorites. Assuming you hit the same stage, what games do you want Ultra? I'm definitely at the stage where I prefer something, well, it depends actually, no. So it's a little bit of both. Because I think my initial curve in the hobby, so it's a little weird. My initial curve in the hobby was, how could anyone ever spend $60 on a game? And I remember specifically Eclipse was that number for me. Eclipse was a $60 game, and I was like, why would you ever buy a $60 game when there are so many great $40 games? Like, why do you feel the need to escalate? As time went on, and as I tried and played more games, I was like, you know what? I actually prioritize. I've tried so many games that I'll happily pay $60 and spend more deluxifying it for a game I really love and enjoy. And that became my new preference, having over-deluxified, over-the-top games. But there's also been a shift for me, and it might be a shift for you, but it's definitely a shift for me, considering how many games I go through and play, which is, I used to wonder why, let's say someone like Tom Vassell, didn't seem to be that obsessed with crowdfunding. Like, if you love games so much, why aren't you backing all these all-ins that you would love? And I think I'm at the point now where I kind of realize that more. And it's one of the reasons I do back less. I still get sucked in, but I'm more selective about where I get sucked in. Because I think that when you play as many games as a board game reviewer does, and when you have the ratio of your plays are so focused on new stuff, like 70% of my time is focused on the new stuff, and 30% of the time I get to play my favorites. It's actually been a good week for playing some really fun games. I've been reintroducing Fun Game Night, but either way. Anyways, so as I've started to play more and more new stuff, the preference for over-deluxification has gone down a bit, because in some cases, they aren't games I'm tabling enough. Like, do I really need to go all in on the next CMON game when it may not be one that I table excessively? Now, some I think are more easily to table than others, but like, I mean, Undead or Alive, great game, love it, and it got it, and again, it holds its value, so it's different. Like, you're able to hold its value, so it changes the conversation. But a game like Undead or Alive, like, I went all in it. I played the entire base game, or most of the base game, but I didn't really play the extras. Sure, I mixed in heroes, but like, I didn't benefit from all the content, and then I got rid of it. So if we're not taking into account the holding its value, which granted I do take into account, like, I just got this all in, didn't benefit from it, and moved on from it. So the game rotation, to a certain extent, means right now my preference is almost, I don't know if I care about going all in on things. Right now, or deluxifying. Right now I've shifted more towards, I just want to get the game, and then over time, if a year from now it's a game that I love and I'm playing, sure, I'll hunt down the stuff. But it's gotta stand the test of time before I go all in and deluxify stuff. And there are games that will do that, but I'm being a bit more conservative because of just how much turnover there is as a board game reviewer. Azael, as an example, I just went all in the metal version of Veil of Fate. Enjoy that. Smooth. Hi, Alex and everyone. Just wondering if you've tried the new Dune Imperium map. Thoughts? It's only the base game so far, but Rise of X should be coming this summer. I have not, but I've heard of good things. Dwarfers, Cheese's Arena successfully funded. Yay. Chris, have you ever watched the Dice Tower live chat? They always display the questions being answered on the screen. It's nice in case I missed a question, but I'm already listening to the answer. Yes, I have watched the Dice Tower live chat. I need to check what software they use to do that, because there are softwares you can use to do it. I have experimented with some of them in the past and haven't loved it, but it's something that I probably should update. I probably should, again, like, it's easy to just fall into the rote of the day by day and what you do and just stick with that. It's something I should continue to look into. I'm not promising solutions, but I will try to look into it. Chris H, can't believe I didn't notice the update URL. We'll use it from now on. Having the buttons still be useful in browsing on mobile. Oh, the buttons would for sure be useful. I'm giving you the hack, not the ideal solution. Petrify, what are the main reasons for wanting to move? Will it still be a basement studio? As of right now, the plan is to still be the basement studio. As of right now. I still need to like figure out exactly how things will go, and there's a possibility that I try to make the basement the game. It's got a nice large basement. It's got a huge basement. So I'm trying to figure out whether the basement can be the game room and the studio, or whether it should just be the game room. Because I don't think any other room makes sense for the game room. But either way, the main reason is space. The main reason is space. You don't get to see it in here, but yeah, main reason is space. Stacy, just review all the games that I'm interested in. That's what works best. I would love to, Stacy. Just send me your list and we'll go from there. Actually, I owe you an email response on the logo things as well. Ryan, Stacy, Alex 100% prefers to review 3s and 3.5s instead, though. I don't think I prefer to. I think you just don't know what you're signing up for until you get into it. I just reviewed a game right before this that I gave a 3.5 to. I was hoping it'd be a 4 or 4.5, but it's a 3.5. Nothing wrong with a 3.5. It's a fun game. I'd play it. I just don't know if I need to own it. Aaron Taylor, what are the upcoming crowdfunding games you're most excited about? I'm looking forward to Brink and Tend. I'm definitely looking forward to Brink, but I will say, as much as I love IV games, the main game for me has been Mythic Mischief. Their other games are all enjoyable. Even like you mentioned, the Metal Veiled Fate. I like Metal Veiled Fate enough that I kind of want that, but I also recognize that I probably wouldn't play it. Like I did a full video of games I don't need to own, and Veiled Fate was in there because I have a friend who owns all of it, and he loves it. If I ever play it, I'll play with him. So, like, I don't know it, but, like, there is that nice part. There's a part of me that wants to own all the shiny, and there's the other part of me that wants to purge aggressively. And those parts don't coexist. I feel like that wolf thing. Like, inside you is two wolves, or whatever it is, and they are constantly fighting with each other. That's how I feel. I'm like the purging wolf and the have all the shiny wolf. I want it all. I had a video once called I Just Don't Learn. It was a video title I called I Just Don't Learn. It was all about the nature of how I continuously want things because I love board games. I'm like, I love board games. I'm like, I want all the flavors of ice cream in front of me. But when I have them all in front of me, I'm only going to eat one. So, like, I have to be selective. But it was all about that chase without the really learning. And there is learning, but I'm just not learning fast enough. Even as I get better at being more selective, I still say yes to things that I shouldn't say yes to. The problem with that video is it never went up because I lost the file for it. So I've had it in my notes to possibly refilm, but it's always hard to do that properly. So I might do it at some point. Brink. I found covered. I didn't actually question. What are the upcoming crowdfunding games you're excited about? I want to try the Cyberpunk one from Go On Board. I definitely want to try that. I want to try Brink. I'm excited for the Awakened Realms one, whatever it is called, the Bloodborne adjacent one. I want to try that one. I believe I have a copy of that coming my way, so I hope to try that. I don't know what else. Oh, DC United. I'm very excited about DC United, unreasonably so. So yeah, a bunch of things. Petrified. Inscription gets insane. It's a slow burn, but the story and escalation of the play is definitely worth it. I am hoping that that happens. There's another game that I backed based on the pure, like, sense of, like, the reviews were just insane. And I don't even remember what it's called, but it's a game about launching off into space, and every time you die, you respawn with new learned information. Some of you probably know what it is. I started it. I gave it, like, an hour, and I'm not yet sucked in. So it's still on my list of games to try and to play. But there are some games that are about the journey. And I've played some of those games and had an amazing journey. And others I don't get pulled in fast enough, which is always tricky. So, yeah, there's that. Joey Crouch, I enjoy Inscription. Definitely something you should not watch anything about before you play if you're interested in it. I haven't. I'm just playing it. ACS, now you play Bellator on a live stream. Will we see Slay the Spire, the video game, run as well? So, fun fact, if you want to check my live content, you can actually see a Slay the Spire. One of the first live videos I ever did was a Slay the Spire run. That said, I probably will do runs of these various games. Like, Dice Tower has the whole what's happening segment. I think it's fun for me to do something like that. I enjoy it. I probably will try to incorporate it into my segments. Maybe it'll be like 2 Q&As a month, 1 game show, and 1, app. They don't do as well, but they are fun for me, and so I like that sense of things. The highest score I've ever gotten in Bellator is still on that live stream. I got a $300 million hand, which was insane. 3 F Cups. What is your favorite boss battler game? Been going through lists and seriously considering Kinfire Chronicles. Primal, almost certainly. I hope to be diving into it more tonight, but I've been saying that for 3 weeks. Eziel, have you tried Nucleum yet? No, I have it. I have it, but I have not tried it. Petrified, how long do you typically wait to sleeve your games on the off chance you decide to get rid of it? At this point, I don't sleeve a game on a first play ever. At this point, I probably wait till the 3rd or 4th play. Not intentionally. I'm busy and I don't always remember to. And then eventually when I'm pulling off for the 3rd time, I'm like, okay, great. I'm just grabbing sleeves and sleeving as we play. But it takes a few plays to get them. Aaron Taylor, yes, Grim Coven is the Bloodborne adjacent one. Thank you for that, Grim Coven. It looks cool, but I also know I didn't love Bloodborne, so I don't know if I'm excited unreasonably or not. We'll find out. Azil, have you tried? No, we covered that one. Nick Binnickers, random question. When someone says it costs a small fortune or it costs a small house, what value do you think of? I guess it depends on the context. If you say a car costs a small fortune, I think it costs over $500,000. If you say a watch costs a small fortune, I think it costs over $20,000. I think it very much depends on the exact context of where it's used. If you say a board game costs a small fortune, I think it costs $500. So a small fortune to me is not about the actual amount of money. It just means it is the most expensive thing in the class that it's in. So that's my answer, which I don't know if it's what you're looking for, because you also said small house. And a small house is a different answer entirely. And I've never heard the expression it costs a small house. So I don't know what that is. Stacy, I like deluxifying after the fact to be sure it's a keeper, although I did that with Encyclopedia, and now sadly I cannot get the upgraded bits from the no longer publisher website. That is the risk. It does happen. Stacy, we will also use some software to show questions on screen. Yeah, so I know you can use Streamlabs. I think it's called. No, not Streamlabs. Not Streamlabs. Is it Streamlabs? Well, you can use something, but the more common software that's been used, I don't like it. I've tried it, and I don't find it gives me the flexibility I want. But I haven't tried all the softwares out there. I've only loosely looked into one of them, and I didn't like that one. JB, interesting in Vindication. Some reviews mention abruptness of the game ending, especially at 2 players. I love Vindication, and it absolutely can end abruptly, and I love that about the game. To me, it's one of the things I enjoy, is the abrupt ending of, which is weird, because in other games I don't necessarily enjoy that, but in Vindication to me is it's a race to finding the most optimal pathway towards as many points as possible while being mindful of the endgame conditions. And I love the way it's structured. It's actually interesting, because I reviewed Ark Nova recently, and Ark Nova I'm okay with. And I got a few complaints that were like, how could you review Ark Nova and not talk about how it's a race? And the answer is because I didn't get that feeling when playing it. And I've played it plenty of times, and I didn't get the feeling of a race. Versus in Vindication, I do. And that doesn't mean that anything's right or wrong. It just means that for every reason, one of those games I love and adore and think is the best, and the other game, I didn't see the magic. It's not to say the magic doesn't exist. It's just that I didn't see it. And I gave it enough time that I'm okay with that. Stacy, now's a good time to connect, Alex. I'm stuck in Orlando for 3 weeks. I need to go ahead and answer. I'm very good at doing the things that need to be done on a day in, day out basis. The extra things that are projects, those are things that I usually push off to the next day for like 4 months straight. Petrified, are the kids excited for new rooms? Yes, although I'm not excited for the part where they all claim the same one and I have to negotiate over them, because I'm pretty sure there's going to, with 4 of them, there's no chance that they all are like, yes, I would like this one, this one, this one. There's no chance they're all going to agree. They're going to fight and we'll figure it out. But they have already got some things. We've picked up some various stuff as far as like, beds and extras and things. Like some stuff we moved, some stuff we bought new, but they're overall excited. Hexsong, Outer Wilds. I don't know what Outer Wilds is. Ryan, having played and reviewed so many games, you must have expansive knowledge of mechanics features that work well. Have you ever had any interest in designing a game of your own? Ryan, absolutely. This is a regular question I get. I frequently have an interest in designing games. I frequently have very little interest in putting in the work required to make it a good game. Even yesterday, because of Slay the Spire, I'm kind of in a space where I'm trying to think through how would I design a Slay the Spire style board game. And then we have Unstoppable from John D. Clear. How would I design a game in that genre? And the past few days, it's been very much on my mind. And I might actually do something like that, because at the very least, if that's solo-friendly, I can playtest it on my own as much as possible. So I definitely have the interest. I wouldn't count on anything ever happening, because life is busy, there's so many different competing interests, and there's always, something I've talked about is, a board game reviewer putting out a game is a dangerous game to play. Because the reality is, reviewing games and making games are a different skill set. You can say whether you enjoyed a movie or not, and you can critically analyze why without being able to produce a good movie. The problem is, while that's true, if I put out a game and the general reception of it is like, if I put out a game and like it actually gets published and then it goes on the Dice Tower and Foursquare's review, it gets a 6 out of 10. That's going to be a strike against me. People will be like, oh yeah, you're reviewing games. Your game was a 6 out of 10. Like, people have that perception. Not everyone, but people do. So there's an additional level of risk in being a board game reviewer and designing a game, and the potential risk that comes with and the onus it comes with. So will I do it? I would say, if I had to guess if I ever design a game, I think yes. If I had to guess if it's anytime soon, I think not. Aaron Taylor is Grim covering the Bloodborne. And Jason 1, yes, I got Rob Trotter. I got Cloud Spire instead of getting into TMB. The art and theme of TMB has never pulled me in. I love both. I'm also all in for Elder Scrolls. Yep, that makes sense. It's a good game. Vindication is mentioned. Obligatory question. Play an expansion yet? No, Brian. You have to harass Jenna. Oh. Okay, Brian. Here's what we can do. Okay. Let me go ahead. Message Jenna because Jenna's not on the thingy. Obligatory. Ask obligatory mention that I was asked on stream when you're coming in for Vindication plays. Okay, I've harassed Jenna. Not that we need Jenna to play, but like, listen, I'll do what I can over here. I should play the expansion. I should. Jason, wait, restart. I didn't realize it was Thursday. Jason, absolutely. Give me 1 second. Okay. Audio okay? Everyone hear me? Okay. Let me go ahead and pop out to chat. Let me just switch it to live. Ooh, it's on top chat. Let me switch to live. 1 second. Sorry about that. Let me do that. Okay. Okay, great. Perfect. Beautiful. And there we go. Okay. Audio good? Audio good? Yep. Okay. That's just, I don't have anything funny to do. Alright, restart. Aziel, have you played Moonrakers? Been playing Titan Edition, absolutely loving it. Yes, Moonrakers is one that I very much enjoy. I enjoy the solo mode of it. I wish the solo mode was non-digitally driven. But I enjoy the game in general. It's one that I did eventually cull, but even with the expansion and stuff, it's just a harder game table. It works with the higher player counts. But I do like Moonrakers. I do like it a lot. Chris, how would you rank these CMON games in terms of easiest to play with an 8-year-old? See, Cthulhu May Die, Mass Tactics 2, Marvel Zombies, Dead Keep, God of War. Okay, so in order of easiest to play with an 8-year-old, and then working your way up, we're going to start with Marvel Zombies is easiest. Because we're thinking of the fact that you're running things, so, because you are running things, you better be running things. Which means at that point, we're only thinking of what they need to know. So Marvel Zombies is going to be the easiest. Then, ooh, maybe not. Marvel Zombies or God of War? No, Marvel Zombies is, ooh... God of War is going to be the easiest. God of War is going to be the easiest. Then Marvel Zombies. Then Dead Keep. It's basically, from your perspective, it's mostly Marvel Zombies. Then Cthulhu May Die, and then Massive Darkness. I think Massive Darkness would be the most work, so that would be my ranking over there. So, Emmy, please report back on how you gamify room selection for your kids. Yes, that's going to be a problem. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I'm waiting to see how it... Because the problem is, I don't know what I'm doing because depending on which kids conflict is going to be the answer. Brian, me, Stacy, okay, got it, it's all about you, fair enough. Petrified, do you have a fancy way of storing Button Shy games? You just have a stack on one of your shelves. I just have a stack on one of my shelves. Aaron Taylor, wait, you forgot to add Call Katana as part of that text. Well, no one sent $5, so, someone said I should also say Call Katan. But no one sent $5, so you can ignore that part. Okay, solved. The restart makes me laugh every time. So, this restarts used to make me laugh a bit more, but I think I've done the same thing too many times that I need to get a little bit more clever or creative with it. Brian T. Alex, if I was to choose one expansion for Vindication, I would say Guilds. I'm curious about all of them equally. Guilds is a module or an expansion? Petrified, starting to one of Genesis doesn't want to play Vindication with you. Petrified, honestly, I'm getting the same vibes here. Rob Trotter, do you check out Neon Rain from Manny Tremblay? I didn't see in the 2 Back Not to Back. I think I covered it the first week it was up. In general, I don't cover them every week. I usually cover them the first week unless there's reasonable updates. But yeah, I had a chance to play it as well. So I cover the campaign. It's a cheap game, which is hard to make worth it on crowdfunding. But it's a fun little button masher. Not a game that wowed me because it's a little bit too chaotic to a certain extent. But a game I enjoyed without being wowed by. James, perfect. Thanks, Alex. Happy to help. Nick, are you a handyman? Will you be fixing stuff up yourself with the new house, so let it be done? Ooh. I am fairly handy, but I'm also fairly busy. So it depends on the situation. I usually start by trying to solve things myself. I would say most things I can do myself. Like, again, I can hang things, I can adjust things, I can paint, I can mess with lighting and things like that. There gets to be a certain point where I definitely hire professionals for things, and there gets to be a point where it's just too much work and effort. So it's probably going to be a mix of things. ACS, have you played Primal yet? Do you think it'll go into your top 100? I would be shocked if Primal's not my top 100. I would be shocked. The biggest question is, does something hold up? And even though I haven't played it, I've read the rules and prepped to play it, even though I haven't played it since it arrived, I've seen enough positive coverage that I'm pretty confident that it holds up. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping to play it tonight. If not tonight, then this weekend. But we'll see how that goes. Tom Vassell designed board games in the past, and some were not that highly rated. Word Canada Last Day seems to be doing great, though. If you feel like making one, don't worry too much and go for it. I think Tom Vassell... I don't know for sure why Tom stopped designing board games. I wonder if that was a factor. Meaning, I do wonder, like, some of his games were not highly rated. I wonder if that became a thing, like, Tom Vassell reviewing a game is not that great. I mean, it's not bad. I think Nothing Personal. He has Nothing Personal, which was generally well received, and the others not as much. It's not a thing that's going to stop me, don't get me wrong, but it's one of the many factors that I'm considering is the potential concern. But also what that would primarily make me do is it would make me only publish something that I'm really proud of. Like, I don't think I'd publish something... Like, it's always a conflict where most companies start by designing games out of passion. The problem is, at a certain point, you have to pay people salaries. Now you have to put out games. So you can't iterate to perfection. You have to make a game. I'm in the position where it would only ever be a side thing for me, at least that I can think of. And so it would have to be something I really, truly believe in. And it would not become a real thing unless there were a lot of people who loved it. Now, a lot of people who loved it does not translate into everyone loving it, but like I know enough about how to design a board game and I know enough about how to push for things that I would not put out a game that wasn't very well liked by the people who got to try it. So the question is from there, how to manage that. If you can't design, you critique. Brian T, yes. It's easier. I say this all the time, please, all the time. The other day I was on a playtest session for a TTS game. Well, not TTS, a game I played on TTS. And I said, hey, that iconography is really not clear. And they're like, oh, yeah, we've actually heard that already. Like, what do you suggest? I was like, I got nothing for you. I was like, maybe I can come up with something, but like, I can tell you that it doesn't work a whole lot easier than I can tell you what does work. So, and in general, that's true. I think in general, it is easier to come up with something you didn't like than to explain how you can make it better. And that doesn't mean you're wrong. I can tell you that I didn't like the food you're making. I can tell you that it didn't taste good. I may not be able to tell you how to make it taste good. I'm just telling you I like food, and this was not good. You're like, how would you fix it? Make it better. How? I got nothing. Critiquing is easy. Fixing is not. It doesn't mean the critique is invalid. Petrified. Is Ironwood the first Minecraft game you've actually been excited for? Arguably, yes. I think I played Ironwood, then I played Dracarian right after. So Ironwood is the first game I'm excited for Minecraft, but I played Dracarian right after and really enjoyed Dracarian. But I think Ironwood's easier to table. I really like Ironwood. Review coming soon. Nick Binnickers. Currently I'm making a kitchen, doing electrical work and plumbing. My mental feels down because I've not been able to play board games in person for 2 weeks. I recommend board games. And as far as this, I can't, there's some things I can do, like even a toilet. Like I've installed bidets. I highly recommend bidets, by the way. Always recommend bidets. But I've installed my own bidets. I've even replaced a toilet myself once. Did I do that? No, I've replaced the inner workings of toilets. I've replaced like the when the handle breaks or the flapper. I've done stuff like that. But like there's plumbing, and I've done some and not others. ACS, do you think Primal will go into your top 100 here? Didn't someone just ask that? Oh, yes, you asked that, then you edited your question. Yes, it will. I'd be shocked if it didn't. Kevin, I'm late to the game, but just picked up Marvel Champions. What are the first few must-have expansions or hero packs? I really liked, was it Doctor Strange? I think it was Doctor Strange. I'd have to go ahead and look again. But I really like Doctor Strange, so I can give that one as an option. But past that, anything. Kevin, I'm late to the game, but just picked up Marvel Champions. What are your first few must-have expansions or hero packs? That's the question I just asked. Sorry about that. Brian, Alex, I may have to visit so you can get Vindication played. Then we can get introduced to Anachrony. Anachrony is a game I learned. I said this in the past. I've learned it right before the pandemic hit, and then my game group fell apart, and it's never really been the same. I've always had a game group, but it's iterated over the years as far as how that game group is at any given point, from pre-pandemic to through pandemic, based on my situation, based on other situations. But Anachrony I learned. I never got it played. So I still have a general idea of how it plays, but only general because I read the rules like 4 years ago at this point. As far as Vindication, we should definitely make that happen. Aziel, got a copy of Huang on its way. Excited to get my hands into it. Only ever played digital Yellow and Yangtze. I've played Huang. I've played Yellow and Yangtze. I've played digital Yellow and Yangtze. And I think they're all good. And I still prefer Tigers and Euphrates more, but they are all good. Petrified. Brian, I better be there. Finally introduced my game group to Anachrony last month and ended up playing like 5 games in a row. They liked it so much. That, people say that stuff about Minecraft games. But like even Dracarian. I'm not yet sure if Dracarian is a keeper, even though I loved it. I think that I am picky about what games are more easily tableable. I'm very picky about that. And even games I absolutely love are on my mental chopping block because I'm realizing they're not getting played. So, I don't have good solutions there. I have real problems that need to be dealt with. But not real problems, sorry. None of these are real problems. There's real problems and there's this. Petrified, nice. Do you play with Faction of Time yet? That's for Petrified. Stacy, I'm still liking Dracarian more than Anachrony. Sorry, Brian. Brian, I like them both for different reasons. I won't get rid of either. Dollar Goods Academy flipped the switch for me for Dracarian. I want to play Dollar Goods... Wait, I don't know which one Dollar Goods Academy is. Is that an actual expansion or the expansion where you have the cards? Because you have to play with the cards. Buddy Berglund, Faction Time is what makes Anachrony #1 game. When can we expect your top 10 roll and write list? Can you give us some spoilers? I think that was going to go up this week. It might still, but I think it actually got bumped. No, not this week. Next week. I think next week, Wednesday, was going to be the top 10 roll and writes. I even said in my weekend review that I was doing it, but it got bumped because of scheduling conflict with too many games going on crowdfunding that I need to get stuff. So I think Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday are all going to be like reviews and previews and stuff like that, which I know is not necessarily as exciting, but I don't know where the top 10 roll rights is going, but it will either be the week after, probably, or pushed around into the week itself. So we will see. Jason, actually my favorite Minecraft games. Dracarian's up there. Nick, when is the review for Spectral going up? Ooh, good question. The review for Spectral is... I don't know for sure. Spectral and Cascadero, I reviewed both of them. I think they're going up, I want to say, in the next 2 weeks-ish. But the problem is I put them on the calendar and the things get moved around based on time-sensitive stuff. And Spectral and Cascadero are not time-sensitive. But I want them up sooner rather than later because they're still new games and hot games. I don't want them to, like, disappear. Like, every once in a while you'll see a review go up that was clearly filmed, like, a year ago. And that's because I like having videos in the queue. I'm actually, like, I track every week. I film a certain number of videos, but every week a certain number of videos go up. So, for example, this week there are 14 videos that are going up. Last week there were 15 videos that are going up. If I film 17 videos, I'm only up by 2. And if I disappear for a convention for 5 days, I'm losing 10 right there. So I need to be really on top of things as far as those things, but it does mean having videos in the queue to prep. So basically, I should have Spectral going up soon-ish. Within the next month for sure. Hopefully within the next 2 weeks. Professor Meg. Meg, hello. How's it going? Stacy, Dark Alley, Cars, Doggo's Academy. Yes, so that one I want to try Doggo's Academy. Petrified, not yet. They wanted to focus on just the base game at first before introducing expansions, but they want to break till we come back to it. Hopefully, oh, that's okay. You're answering about your group. Brian, Meg, Petrified, Meg, Any Ward. We have Jason, hi Alex and Meg. John, Any Ward, Early Ward, and Rock Hard 1977. Is that the Devere Games title? Is that Devere Games? I can't remember. Petrified, are you planning to do a review playthrough of Flames of Fafnir? Yes on review, no to playthrough. Nick Binekers, my phone is at 2%. Have a good stream. Thank you, Nick. Enjoy. Karen, Fleet the Dice Game or Three Sisters? I think I prefer Three Sisters. In fact, I'm saying this now, but both of those are my top 10 rolling rights, and Three Sisters is higher. So Three Sisters, I think it's higher. Meg, Alex, what's your favorite game you played this week, and why is it Charterstone? It's not Charterstone. It's absolutely not Charterstone. Let me see. Actually, I don't think I've even logged the past few games. Let me go over here. Let's see what we got. It's not Charterstone. Charterstone is a great game. What do I have this week that I've played that I really like? Okay. And again, I haven't logged a few plays. I have to think about that as well. If I'm going, let's see. Today is the 16th. Let's go back to the 7th and tell you my favorite game in the 7th to the 9th. Let's go back to the 9th and tell you my favorite game I played in the last 9 days. Oh, Meg, you're not going to like the answer. You're not going to like the answer because I already beat Charterstone. My favorite game in the past 9 days... Oh, yeah, I'm just making sure. Okay, so, my favorite game in the past 9 days, Meg, I'll give you bonus points if you, answer what you think my favorite game in the past 9 days is, because you're not going to like the answer. I'll give you a second to think about that. Anyways, sorry, I don't know if you read the question correctly. What's your favorite game? This 512? Okay, if we're doing from 512... Yeah, the other game I played in the past 7 days, but not the past week. In the past... I think Charterstone as an experience would be higher. But I played Castle Burgundy in the past. Since this week, I played Castle Burgundy, so that would be higher for me. So anyways, again, I like Charterstone. But as far as answering the question correctly, so I enjoy Charterstone. It is a good journey, but you missed the part earlier in the stream where I said I would never consider Charterstone a game on its own to be worth playing. I enjoy the journey that Legacy gives to the game experience, but ultimately, I think that there are other games that I prefer than Charterstone. But I still had a lot of fun, as evidenced by the fact that we powered through 12 games in 3 days. Sean, Devere Games, the title designed by a member of the Runaways. Yes, so I saw Rock Hard 977 briefly at Gamma. I think it looks interesting. I'm always skeptical of music-themed games. Skeptical that they'll do well. Like, I like Draft and Write Records. I'm skeptical they'll find the audience. This week we're starting 512. Aziel, almost every campaign game is up to 4 player. Any data on actual player count? Having dedicated groups to play a campaign game with such high player count seems insane to me. Yeah, I've played legacy games at 4 player, and they've dragged on for too long, but they have at least gotten played. A full-on campaign game, I don't know if I've ever done a 4-player campaign game. I generally do 2-player campaign games. I would be open to 3 players, but you really need dedicated people. Like right now, the most dedicated people I have in my game group, they're not my only people. I think I have a lot more people, not a lot more. I would say I have 3 dedicated people, and then 4 or 5 people who float in on a regular basis. As far as the dedicated people, there's myself, Meg, and AP. That's our dedicated crew. And then there's a bunch of others. There's Max and Joey. Joey's from chat. Max you've seen on videos. There are other people who will float in and out as well. But the 3 dedicated are the ones who I power through things with as well. Also, I don't know if I'd enjoy 4-player campaign games as much. 3F Caps. I heard some discussion about deck builder roguelikes earlier. Wondering if you've tried Across the Obelisk. Having a lot of fun with that one with friends online. Highly recommend. I actually just saw that. I own Across the Obelisk. I played it when it first came out. I don't remember much about it. I do know it's been getting Steam bombed recently, review bombed, because I looked it up and I was like, wow, I don't remember it being that bad. And I looked at the reviews. Apparently lots of people are upset that they are requiring a third-party launcher now, so that's unfortunate. But anyways, I plan on trying it again to see where it lies for me, because I remember enjoying it, but I didn't get sucked into it. Mikhail, think there's any chance that the Siege Veto box will come up before next level up, if they're still making it? No idea. Brian, Alex, have you played your physical copy of Dune War for Arrakis yet? No, sadly not. Darlingo2, how did you find your gaming group? I mostly made it. So my gaming group, it's gone through different iterations, but I have found you kind of, okay, there's always going to be a person who makes the gaming group and the people who go to the gaming group. Historically, I sat there one day and said, we're just going to have game night on Thursday. And then I invited all my friends. And people who showed up, and people who didn't show up, didn't show up. And I did that for 5 years. And I very rarely missed a game night because almost always someone would show up. And then when they didn't show up, I'd still play solo because Thursday night was game night. Eventually that changed. I think COVID kind of shut that down and changed how I do game nights. Now I still do multiple game nights a week, but it isn't no longer a Thursday night game night. Now there's just multiple game nights per week and how I structure it. But ultimately, I say games are happening, and then they happen. And then whoever shows up, shows up. And that's usually how it works. But you kind of have to take ownership or be a part of someone else's game group. And I just take ownership, which at this point I have to because of work. But I also do because I like games. Petrified. Meg, why is Alex still running BGC? I thought the plan was to have taken over by now. I was not aware of that plan. No one told me, so that's possibly the blocker. Azael, ever enjoyed a game enough that even though someone in a game group has a copy, you still buy your own copy? All the time. All the time. If I love a game, I don't care if 7 people in my game group own a copy, and I don't care if we never play my copy. If I love a game, I am owning that game. The potential exception are things like, for example, I mentioned earlier in the stream, Madara. Madara is a game that's not that I love Madara, it's that it's a campaign game. Maybe I'll play it, but honestly, what I'm probably going to do, I need to do another campaign game purge. It's been a year since the last one. After my move, I think I'm going to film another campaign game purge. I'm going to update you. Hey, last year we had 50 games. I got rid of like 14 of them. Here are the 36 that are left. From those 36, I've played these 7. Here are the 25 I'm going to do a video like that. But I'm also going to purge more campaign games. And here's what I guarantee I'm doing. Okay, and I haven't even told Meg this, so it is what it is. Any single campaign game that she owns a copy of, considering that I'm 99% sure I'd be playing it anyway, if I played it, it'd be with her, I'm going to be purging those. So anything that there's multiple copies in our shared collection, she can own it. She's more obsessed with campaign games than I am, and I'm going to purge mine. So goodbye, Madara. It's leaving that spot up there at some point soon, but that's going to happen. Where's the question I just answered? Oh, hello all. Almost missed this. Hey, Pry. How's it going? Brian. Okay. Almost missed this. Ryan. Hillebrand. No. Where are we? Aaron Taylor. Stacy. I have game groups, plural. All started by me. All different people. There was crossover once. Felt weird. There was crossover. For me, there's inherent crossover. I'm not going to segment my groups. I like people, and it just happens. But I don't have segmented groups. Unless you count, like, my kids as a game group. Then maybe. Board Game Officer. So once you said that you have around 40-60 videos ahead of schedule, how do you keep track of all your videos and when each of them post? Do you have an Excel sheet or something? So let's go ahead and show the camera. Let's go ahead and show this here. Let's get rid of these. Let's go and open Notion. Okay, I'm going to open Notion. And I'm going to show... one second. Okay, let's go here. Notion. Oh, I don't know if it works in my... Oh, can I go to the internets and do it here? I might be able to do it from because the app-based view doesn't work well for this happens to be. So continue with Google. I'm going to show you what I use basically. Log in, choose an account. Don't direct me to the app. Do not direct me to the app. Do not direct me to the app. Perfect. You didn't direct me to the app. Show desktop site. Okay. This kind of works. Okay. Video schedule. Okay. Let's do it like this. Okay. So here we go. Okay. And hopefully there's nothing private here that will be an issue. Let's see if we can minimize that to be able to get that so you can see the screen. I mean, again, you just see my calendar, but I don't know if there's anything in there. So what I do, I don't know how well this will show. I don't know if it'll show at all. It's not showing. Oh, no, I don't know. I don't think it's showing. I don't think it's showing very well. Sorry, I showed top camera. I don't think it's showing very well. But I have a Notion board where I track. It's a calendar basically. And here, maybe this will show a little better. I don't know. I don't think it's showing great. I'm sorry. Anyways, it's a calendar where I basically have all my videos tracked in Notion, and I basically everything green is highlighted that's done. Everything red is a scheduled video. Everything blue has been filmed. Everything purple has a timestamp and thumbnail on it. And so I basically track my entire video schedule there. And I'm constantly every single week. What I do is I plan the week ahead. I shift and rearrange videos. I generally right now. I think I counted yesterday. I'm currently like 43 videos ahead, which might sound great, but honestly, I need to. I like to get it back up to like 60, 75 or so. So I'm currently trying. I think this week I filmed 15 videos so far, and I think this week there are 15 videos going up, which means whatever I film at this point, or whatever Meg films too, because those count as well, that all counts as extra videos. I want to get back up to like 65, 70 videos before Origins. Origins is going to be June 20th or whatnot. So I'm trying to work my way up as fast as I possibly can because I want to get ahead because I fell behind after so much travel at the beginning of the year. Okay. Where's my mouse over here? Getting Ticket to Ride. Madara is the best mechanics for Madara. Hey, oh wait, no, sorry. Officer, there we go. 3 F gaps. Yeah, the review bombs fade to you are unfortunate, but the game itself doesn't deserve being punished by bad decisions for the devs. It's basically a multiplayer Slay the Spire with more RPG feel. Punishing a game with reviews because of something external to the game is a complicated conversation that I should probably dive into at some point. Because like people who bomb, like people who hate 6 Siege is still a great game. Happens to be Mythic Games is not a great company. But how do you handle the conflict between the things around a game and the game itself? And that's complicated. Professor Meg, getting with Ticket to Ride? No. Do you mean Ticket to Ride Legacy? I think we plan on playing Ticket to Ride Legacy with, well, as soon as we have 4 people. And we already have AP on board, and we just need 1 more, which I think we know, but we'll see what happens there. But anyways, no, Ticket to Ride Legacy is not getting rid of it all. But Ryan, Madara is the best mechanics for a campaign game. Meg, you can never move from Cleveland. Professor Meg can get another Final Go Friday soon. When was the last Final Go Friday? So, I think Meg does Final Go Friday. We have done Tuesday night streams that fell apart during travel and hasn't been picked up. I think I do want to bring back the Tuesday night gaming streams at some point, or maybe a different night. I'd have to figure out when, but I don't know exactly when it's going to happen. But I do want to bring it back. I thought she was moving to Minnesota. No, I have too many things to move again. Pariah, as long as Madara doesn't change the cards again, having to re-sleeve the entire set twice now almost made me get rid of it. Yikes. Alright, you can leave Cleveland for Minnesota. Nice catch, Brian. Beef, do you and your wife have a game you like to play with just each other? Not specifically that I can think of. Just each other? Not specifically that I can think of. Professor Meg, I believe next week, I've been in... Next week what? I've been in MA selling a lot. I think this upcoming weekend is finally my last trip. I don't know what the question was, but I'm not sure what that was. Petrified, does that mean it's sold? If so, congrats. I think that's to Meg. I think Meg should move to Canada. Good luck with that. Petrified, we signed a purchase and sale, but still closing, so hoping all goes well. Tom Shepard, I play against my partner on a regular basis, with and without friends, but she's having an unlucky losing streak and becoming frustrated, putting it nicely. Any advice? Tom Shepard, play cooperative games. It's a standard option, but I think that's the best way. I don't think dumbing down your play to make someone win really helps that much. You can try new strategies, you can play a little bit, but it's a very careful balance of letting someone win. I think play a few co-op games, get things out from there. I don't know if I have a better answer. Prior, although being 4.5 hours away from my Jenna myself isn't so bad. You'd think. Tell that to Jenna. Petrified, Meg just needs to invent teleportation so you can just be in all these places all the time. That would be helpful. There was a question I was asked once in a game I was playing. I was playing a game at a retreat, actually, and the question was, how many years of your life would you give up for the ability to teleport? And I said I'd give up 6 years of my life. 6 years at the end of my life. I'd give up the last 6 years of my life to be able to teleport my entire life. Your favorite... Azelle, your favorite least successful Kickstarter. I backed Showell All In as my #1 game of all time, yet barely crossed 2,000 backers. My least successful Kickstarter that's favorite is going to be a whole lot less than that. I don't know, 9 Minute Kingdoms? Like, that's a small Kickstarter that I really enjoyed. Stacy, bring back gaming streams. I want to. I just, it's a lot. It's a lot to juggle. Petrified, have you had another run of Balatro as good as the one on the last stream? No, I've had good runs of Balatro. The best one was on that stream so far. But I had a really good combo, okay? So, if you know Balatro well enough, I had the... It was close to getting that Y, but I missed some magic. But I basically managed to duplicate the Joker using a spectral card. I duplicated the Joker that makes your kings and queens ×2. And so I was going with full house and 4 of a kind. I had both those ramped up, and I was trying to go for kings and queens and just upgrading that. The problem is I never got my other Jokers to line up well with that strategy. So I was capping out at like, $30 million a hand, and I wasn't able to get across to the 300 million mark that I did this last time. Are we going to see another consistent game stream like with My Island? Well, My Island's not done yet, and I hope to finish that at some point on stream. Aaron Taylor, BoardGameCo, it was to Final Girl Friday, I believe. Oh, yes, that was the answer. Gotcha. Okay. Ryan, have you done a full review of Dune War for Arrakis? No, but I hope to. I don't... Honestly, as much as I like Simon, as much as I do, they have put out a lot of campaigns recently. Like, a lot of campaigns, and I can't keep up. So, I don't know what I'm doing for Dune War for Arrakis. If they reach out to me for sponsored content, then of course I'll be playing it to prioritize it there. If they don't, I will still want to play it because I like the game, but I don't know if it'll be prioritized. I have to dive into D-Genesis this weekend. That's my current game plans. Brian, Alex, when is the move scheduled? That's unclear exactly. There's like some overlap, so aiming for June 1st, but we'll see how it goes. But I'll still have access to this for a bit, so we'll see exactly the transition as far as how it goes. And obviously, because I have videos in the queue, you'll also see videos in the set for like several months out. But I would say that by the end of July, you'll see most of the movies start. Most of the film by the end of June. You'll start to see most of the videos on the channel being done in the new set, ideally assuming things go well. I'm very nervous, but we'll see how it goes. Petrified, 6 years seems fair for the amount of airfare savings. That's what I figure, and just time spent saving. I know you're busy. I'm actually really happy with the incredible amount of videos you post. It's very impressive, much appreciated. I try to keep up as much as I can, and I love what I do, but there's trade-off. You can't do everything in life. You can just do the best you can and hope for the best. Board Game Officer, are you doing more Tenaris Adventures playthroughs? Yes. I got in a rut with those, and I stopped doing them, and I need to do them. The problem is they're like 4 hours a piece, and like when I'm trying to... Here's my problem. Here's the issue I have right now, which is there was a higher priority to get a bunch of them done while they still could have active Pledge Manager, and they don't have that as much. But the problem is, especially when I'm trying to catch up on videos and get ahead again, filming a Tenaris playthrough is 4 hours for one video. So like I have to do it. It's a contract. They want the videos done. They're not in a rush. They don't care. But it's an ongoing thing where it is sponsored content they're being paid for. But dear Lord, it's so much time. So I have to continue to do them. Maybe I'll pick a day next week and do another one. I need to lock them in. And like when I was doing it on a schedule, at least I felt I had to. And now that I kind of slumped, I'm like, I'll get to it. I'll get to it when I get to it. But I'm realizing now it's 2:10. So we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to go through the last few questions and wrap this up. Mikhail was looking forward to 9 Minute Kingdoms and never got my copy. I'm sorry about that, Mikhail. I am. Brian, imagine if Alex moves and gets the crappy internet back. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. Stacy, by the way, thanks to the new speech you did in the women's retreat at the Gamers Ranch. I've been invited. Can't wait. You've been invited, Stacy? Nice. Enjoy. Rebecca Heil, how much time do you spend playing games every week? I'm a bit behind, but just heard your answer about game groups, and I've been wondering how on earth board game reviewers get enough playthroughs. Oh, dear Lord. First of all, Jenna replied. Well, we'll get to Jenna in a second. That's an answer question. I spend so much time playing board games each week. I would guesstimate I'm playing 3 hours a day minimum. And that's hard to answer for sure because there are some days, like last night, I played for 4 hours, done. The night before that, probably played for like 2 hours. The night before that, probably played for like 6 hours. Like, it does change. There are days, I'll have three days go by where I happen to only play like 2 games. That does happen. So it's hard to think of the average for sure. But I mean, I can tell you the amount of games I'm playing a week is on average, I'm playing 3 games a day, on average. And that was higher like last year. Last year I was playing 5 games a day on average. Things have slowed down for me. But yeah, I play a lot. And then let's see what Jenna replied. Okay, should we try for sometime in June or July? Okay, so we may have gotten movement. We'll see. Brian, no. Thank you, Alex, for the stream. Hello, who's winning? Nat, you're winning. You're always winning. Aaron Taylor, 2 times Alex, reading speed engaged. Azelle, thanks for the consistent stream, Alex. Don't forget to see me. Don't often get to see me live as I'm in Australia, but I always watch the replay later. Thank you for tuning in. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. I am going to go ahead and see if I can get 2 more videos done today because I count the stream as one. I did one right before the stream. If I can get 2 more done today, that's not a bad day, and I can continue to be ahead on my videos, which I'm trying to do because that's where it gets stressful when I'm trying to do a video for the next day. It's so much less stress when I just, film them all in advance, so that's what I'm trying to do now. Anyways, I appreciate you all. I will see you next week. I think there's a stream next week. I don't see a reason why not. And outside of that, now I lost my train of thought. I appreciate all of you being here. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, I will see you next time. Hope you have a good one.